All right, it's After Hours with Travis Gibbs and Greg Henson.
Is it though?
Yeah. I mean,
Is
the
it?
show's over, so I mean, it is after hours technically, right?
In other words, we ain't getting paid.
No, this is for fun, but it
Yeah.
is fun. Sports are fun, right?
Oh, you kidding me?
God, I sounded like Michelle there.
40 sports.
Sports are fun.
This week particularly was really good for Detroit sports fans. I mean, aside from the Lions stuff, I mean, it looks like the Red Wings are fixed or righted at least.
Yeah.
Pistons playing well. I mean, the Tigers aren't doing jack in free agency still, but
No.
that's what happens when an Illich owns you that's not named Mike.
Right.
But the Lions stuff, I got to be honest, man, we're just in uncharted territory. I don't even know what to think anymore. I thought last night's game was going to be a lot more difficult than it was. I mean, it was for a half.
Yeah.
And then the Lions seemed to figure it out, and Sam Darnold struck midnight.
Turned into a big old pumpkin.
He did.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Sam Darnold, and I guess the Jared Goff critics could probably try and echo the same thing. Darnold's a product of his environment. He has really good receivers. He has a really good offensive mind at head coach, and he has a really good running back in Aaron Jones. He has all the tools to succeed, and shocker, he's had a pretty good year.
But I don't think Goff is as much. Goff's been almost perfect all year. I mean, especially he had that one terrible game. Yesterday, he made a bad decision, and then he got tipped. But he's been pretty damn balls on so far this year. This year and last year he was very good as well. I don't know. I think Darnold. I do. I don't think Goff's turning into a pumpkin. I think Darnold is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll find out because he's got to be ready to go against the Rams this week. Matthew Stafford could send them home quickly.
Which I think a lot of people are probably predicting that.
Is that what you're seeing early?
Yeah. I heard people talking earlier this week last week now, that the loser of this Lions-Vikings game likely would end up losing the game in LA.
I didn't believe that with the Lions. The Lions going on the road didn't bother me. It was more of a, damn, all this to not get a home game.
Right.
The Lions can beat the Rams.
I mean, the last couple of times it's been close, but
right.
Last night, though, that was, I mean, the way they won that game. The thing that impresses me the most about this Lions team, last year, how they win games. Defense was opportunistic. They scored a lot of points.
Right.
This year, they have found different ways to win. I think that speaks to how great a team is when they're not just, this is who they are, cookie cutter.
But they can do multiple wins. They are different types of games. They can grind it out. They
Right.
can, like last night, very much the grind out game wasn't working until they were able to adjust and open it up a little bit. And then that just made it all easier for Gibbs.
Well, and early on in that game, for as much as I thought Ben Johnson had smartest man in the room syndrome.
First half of that game, I texted you that. I'm like, what is he doing?
I give him a lot of credit for sticking to a game plan, though. Because there were moments in that first half where you could have went, screw this, throwing out the playbook here. We're doing something different. It's not working. But he kind of stuck to that. We're going to run the ball. We're going to take our time, and we're going to take shots when we get them. We're not just going to we're not just going to be openly taking shots to take shots.
Yeah, but pounding the ball 3 straight times on the second series of the game didn't make much sense to me.
Yeah.
And not that I don't think Gibbs isn't capable of cracking one, but I don't know. I didn't understand that. And I tweeted that out and somebody wrote, well, he clearly has respect for that pass rush. And I'm like, throw it over their head, throw a screen. Last night's game was as vanilla as Ben Johnson gets.
Yeah.
He didn't do much creative. And he's a creative offensive coordinator. We've seen that time and time again. But I didn't see much creativity last night, which I don't care. Whatever it takes to win, they study more film than anybody, but I don't know. I thought at times he was just trying to be too cute.
It felt like that whole team, all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams, they knew that game was falling into that battle of attrition. And when it comes to that type of ball game, I mean, the Lions win it 9 times out of 10.
Probably. Because they're going to have the best running back on the field. Their offensive line is going to grind it out.
Think about Dan Campbell's first press conference. He talks about it, biting kneecaps, hunking another piece off of you. But before you know it, we're going to be the last one stand. That was that type of game. And I couldn't feel better about this team right now, especially the way the defense played last night.
I mean, I still don't love the injuries, but clearly Anzalone coming back was a major get back for the Lions, and I think that's from a leadership standpoint. He's a good player, and I think just having him out there probably helped. Hopefully, they can get Davis back at some point. They dodged a bullet with Terrion Arnold's injury last night. I thought, oh crap, not another cornerback.
Right.
But yeah, I think if they get healthy here at the right time, they're going to get 2 weeks off now, basically, to get healthy, and hopefully I mean, I don't know who's coming into Ford Field and winning.
I I mean,
Maybe the Eagles, but I don't even know if they can pull that off.
I think the week off is more important than even having the home field advantage. Yeah,
It's
it's
almost 2
nice.
weeks, though. It's this
Yeah.
week and the whole next week.
Well, and plus the winner of that Rams Vikings game, that's already been announced. That's going to be the Monday night game. So
Oh,
they're coming in on a short week either way, which means if they're coming in on a short week, it's going to be a Sunday game in 2 weeks.
am I misremembering? Is this I thought Monday night games were over once the playoffs started, so no one was at a competitive disadvantage.
The wild card round, they will play a Monday night game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just
Yeah.
another kick in the balls for being a wild card team.
Yeah.
Because on Monday night, then you got to turn it around. Maybe probably play Sunday. You're right. Give them a
Yeah.
full week.
Yeah. If anything, it'll be like the late game on Sunday, the 4 o'clock game. But
Yeah.
um
What did you think of the offensive lines play in the first half yesterday? That was concerning for a minute.
they got pushed around a little bit.
I have not seen that in a few years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Decker got pushed around a little bit. Sewell had a rough first half,
Yeah.
which shocks me because he never does.
Right.
He never looks off his game.
Yeah.
In Glasgow, first quarter was not good.
Yeah. The internal part of the offensive line had a rough go of it in the first half. I I like I said, I go back to the battle of attrition thing. I think the Vikings had a good game plan coming into this. Stuff the run, and then we get after Goff with our blitz on third downs. And they did a good job during the first half. I mean, they held the Lions offense. I mean, without the kicker's mistake, that's a 7-6 ball game going into halftime.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that kicker was not good.
To hold an offense that's been averaging what 35 points a game to 7 points in the first half, that's pretty good.
3 red zone trips turned away,
Yeah.
except for what, the field goal?
Yeah.
But I consider that a win.
Absolutely. Well, especially with the way the defense has been playing, but I mean, it felt like the Lions knew it was going to be a slugfest and they just stayed patient, and eventually in the second half, you saw what leaning on that defense did from the first half. It was a direct result of it.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of guys are able to do, a lot of
Yeah.
these teams with good offensive linemen. And
Superior teams can do that.
right. But you have to build it that way, and that's what
Right.
the Lions, have done is they built from the offensive line out, which is it was so dumb that the Lions went so if you look back, go back and look at their draft classes. Do you know how many years they went without taking a lineman in the first round? I mean, it was forever. It went from Gibson to Lomas Brown to Gibson, the kid from Wisconsin. And then there was another lull of about a decade, I believe. First round linemen, they just wouldn't take them.
So I think the first time in my lifetime that they took an offensive lineman with their first round pick was Taylor Decker in 2016.
Yep.
That was
They just don't do it.
I was 21 years old by
Yeah.
then.
But I mean, I think Lomas was my first one. It was in 85. They took Lomas Brown first round All American. And then I think the next first round pick was Aaron Gibson from Wisconsin in like 2002.
Yeah.
Something like that. It went on forever. But you see that that's how you build a team. And then, you take a guy like Penei Sewell, who everyone knew was going to be spectacular, and he's been that good.
I
He's just
remember
been that good.
that draft night, Booger McFarland, and take it with a grain of salt, what guys on ESPN say these days, but I remember Booger McFarland said when the Lions drafted him that night, it he talked to somebody that had been in football for like 50 plus years, and he asked him if you could predict one of these first round guys that are projected to go in the first round to be a Hall of Famer right now, who would it be? And he said Penei Sewell.
See, I'm one of those guys who doesn't care about the sexy draft day pick. So when they
Mm-mm.
took him, I was like, hell yes, that's your guy. That's a foundational piece.
Lions fans were pissed because they took Sewell over Justin Fields.
Didn't need a quarterback.
No.
Well,
No.
but the reason they do that is because you didn't know Goff was gonna be here and, and be good.
I think that's the other thing, man. Goff is just he made a couple mistakes last night, but he plays with a level head.
He's I'm just telling you, man, his career trajectory just changed so much for the better. We all thought, everyone thought he was coming here as just a transitional piece.
Yeah.
They threw him in to dump some money. Lions will cut him loose as soon as the dead money, goes away.
Right.
And they told us all along, no, we want him. We want him.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, sure. Sure you do. Wink,
Right.
wink. Yeah,
Right.
sure you want him.
Right.
But they didn't lie to you. They
Yeah.
told you they wanted him and they did. And he's turned out. And it used to be he's turned out to be a great quarterback, but it used to be quarterbacks didn't even get good till they were 30. And
Yeah.
he's not even 30 yet.
No.
So, and plus I really like having his wife around. It was just
He likes having his wife
she
around.
just seemed this is the thing. If we get Kelly Stafford again, I don't think Kelly Stafford's a bad person. I just think she's kind of entitled. And Goff's wife never comes off that way.
No.
Never. She just seems like just a normal chick who's, by the way, a 10. But I mean, just her TikToks are all just nice. And unlike Kelly, it's about me. Don't boo my children.
I remember after the Houston game, somebody posted a video on TikTok that I saw, and it said, "Do you think Jared Goff cares that he threw 5 interceptions last night? Have you seen a picture of his wife?
No.
That's who he's going home to, regardless if they win or."
But seems like a nice person too,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we all know she's a 10, but it's like you see, I watch her on I see her on social media periodically. She posts stuff, and it's like, what a breath of fresh air compared to Kelly Stafford, who again, Kelly Stafford just don't comment on football. You don't know what you're talking about.
Nobody would know who you are if
Right.
it wasn't for your husband.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so hopefully we'll get some more Kelly Stafford drama because if she comes back, they're going after her again because of the lie she told last time.
So you think it's Lions-Rams in the divisional round?
Yeah, I do. I think the Vikings, if you want a blueprint, you have it from last night now.
Yeah.
And I think the Rams, if the Rams are smart, they'll go, okay. All right, we see what you got to do to Sam Darnold.
Let's get pressure on this ginger, and I think we'll be okay.
Anytime you pressure a ginger, they collapse. Anytime, even if they're a Gibbs. But yeah, I do. I think that's probably going to be your game. Hopefully, the Lions can bring the. I want revenge for 95. I want the Eagles' ass at Ford Field, and I want to kick the hell out of them.
See, that's the only matchup that really, I guess, makes me nervous.
Because he can run. Jalen Hurts.
Hurts can run. I mean, Barkley rushed for 2,000 yards this year.
Yeah.
That's top to bottom. It's a good team.
You're going to have to go through them.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they get upset, but I don't see that happening. Do you?
Well, I was just talking to somebody this morning, actually, and right now, Jalen Hurts hasn't even been cleared from concussion protocol to play this weekend. I'm sure he'll play.
He'll play.
But, I mean, Hurts hasn't played in a month now.
I thought it was only 2 weeks.
Well, it'll be 4 weeks
Yeah.
going into Saturday or Sunday, whenever they end up
Don't
playing.
get your hopes up.
No, and
you're going to have to stop them.
Yeah, that's true. Because there's no way the Packers go into Philly and win that game.
No, I don't think so, unless he doesn't play.
Right,
but he'll play. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I want Philly's ass in here. I really do. That's the one I'm boning for because I was there in '95 when the Lions were 8-point favorites, and Lomas Brown said it's not a matter of how much we win by. It's not a matter of if we win. It's by
Does he have a
how
lisp?
much. Oh, he just talks sniff. He used to do car dealership ads for Sniff Camp, and he couldn't say Sniff Camp. He'd go to Sniff Camp.
Oh no!
Oh, it was the worst. It's the worst. But anyway, he was the one who said that it's by how much, and then the Lions promptly got their faces kicked in. They got their faces caved in.
You just don't poke the bear.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
Shut up, man.
Last night on the Sunday night broadcast, right before the game, one of the reporters for Sunday Night Football interviewed Justin Jefferson, and they're walking alongside the end zone, and she's talking to him, and they're walking right by where the Lions players are warming up, and she goes, 2 quick questions for you. Can anyone on this field stop you tonight? And he goes, probably not. And you saw one of the Lions players turn around like he heard what was going on. Like, Listen, these guys come into a game with enough motivation. You don't
Right.
need to give them extra
Just shut
motivation.
up.
Yeah,
I'll never understand the poking the bear stuff.
right.
It's just get the win.
I mean, DJ Reader had the perfect opportunity to do that last week. Somebody asked him about Sam Darnold,
Right.
and Reader was like, "Oh, I think he's been a great story
He
this
has
year."
been.
Yeah, I mean, 35 touchdowns. I mean, this is by far and away the best year of his
What are
career.
you gonna say? He went from scrub to the king of the hill?
Right.
I remember when that scrub was in North Carolina.
Right.
I remember when that scrub was, in college. Yeah, it's funny though. But you're right. You just got to shut up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Anyway, we wait to see who the Lions end up playing.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, it's great.
It's nice to say only 2 more wins for the Super Bowl. I just can't even believe that came out of my mouth. I never thought I'd see it.
Put our feet up and relax this weekend.
Just remember, the good news is on the sign you need to know where Henson goes, the champagne flows.
Oh boy,
I already brought Michigan's national title. Now I'm going to bring the Lions Super Bowl, and I might give Izzo another national championship before he leaves. I'm thinking about it.
Wow, that's a lot coming from you.
Oh, considering what that dick said last week.
Who, Izzo?
Yeah, he should go Ohio State, go win a national title.
Oh yeah, because he's become friends with Ryan Day.
Yeah, because he's a puss too.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah,
Who
he
cares?
didn't say it last year. Two softies hanging out.
Oh boy, all right.
Soft serve ice cream right there. Those two Nancy's.
We'll save it for another time. Thanks for joining us.
No, let's do it.
We're done here.